I'm Bill Smith, and this is my wife Natalie, and we've been going to Waveside since August of last year. One thing we wanted to share today, oh, that's so lame.
Keep going, just start.
So a few weeks ago, Tiffany got up and shared that you really have to be prepared as Christians, that God will move in your life suddenly. And at the time, I just remember thinking like, yeah, that's true. And the more I reflected on it, we realized that that's really been the story of our lives since February of 2012. At that time is when we found out that Bill's mom had been sick. She had cancer, and it just really rocked our world.
If I could steal a phrase from Pastor Dave, now in hindsight we can look back and we can see God's fingerprints and how everything was orchestrated by Him. Of course, at the time, it didn't feel like that. There were more questions than answers. It was like, well, wow, why this, why now? So the first thing that happened is, after we found out that my mom had multiple myeloma, we just decided this is it. It's now or never. Natalie's grandmother is also 95, and so we just figured if we don't get out there now, we're going to regret it. So on my birthday, June 19th of last year, instead of going out and celebrating with our best friends, Natalie had an over-the-web job interview, which of course I was protesting to at the time. But it turns out that that is the job that she landed. So suddenly we went from, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to get there? To boom, she has a job. That's what we need. That was the first key. Then the next step is, well, what are we going to do about our house? Again, another suddenly was, we're praying, okay, we're getting the house listed. We really hope this house sells fast. We need to move. Her job is starting in a matter of weeks. We don't have any place to live yet out in California. We put the house on the market on a Thursday night at 8 p.m. At 10 p.m. I got an email from the realtor saying that she had interest, and the first person that saw the house in the morning put in an offer for exactly what we wanted out of the house. Another thing that was a suddenly is we had set up to stay with my brother, who is down in Burbank, but because of the fact that my mom had gotten ill, not related to a cancer, she just got ill, and then my brother's family, from spending time with her, had gotten ill also. They were very uncomfortable. They're like, well, we don't want you to get sick. Is there someplace else you can stay? And then suddenly God opened the door up, and my sister said, well, you can come stay with us here, which was actually better because she's in Newberry Park, which is closer to where my mom is. So it was a total blessing, and it was, very unexpected.
It was. She was able to give us the emotional support that we needed to make this big transition too in our lives.
And also, it was, again, as far as the fingerprints looking back, it was great to be on a mission, if you will, at home in her house, and how we interacted, with her and her family as Christians. So that was very, very powerful for us. Another suddenly was finding Waveside.
I would say suddenly God put the urge in our hearts to actually go. Even though we were completely exhausted, physically, emotionally, we still just got up and came to Waveside that day.
Yeah, and we've been plugged in here since, and it's been a real blessing.
So from that suddenly of even having our housing change and looking back on the suddenly of selling our home and getting the job, we really realized that the more we walked in the faith, the more we wanted to walk in faith. When you're walking in faith like that, you can really see that those suddenlies aren't just flukes. They're things that God's really doing in your lives. He has a plan for us, and that, like Bill said, we really are on a mission.